The director of the Louvre Museum will today appear before a French Parliamentary Culture Committee to answer questions about the spectacular heist of jewels at the museum last month. Laurence Descartes had previously appeared before the Senate when she said she had raised the alarm over security deficiencies at the museum. It also follows an announcement by the Louvre on Monday that it was closing one of its galleries as a precaution after an audit revealed structural weaknesses in some of the beams in the building. And for more on this, I can bring in Didier Rykner, art historian and editor-in-chief of La Tribune de l'Art. Good morning, Didier, and thank you for joining us. Do you expect this appearance by Laurence Descartes at the National Assembly to go any differently to her previous audience at the Senate?
I don't expect this at all, because she doesn't recognize what she did not do. She tells she did everything all right, but it's not true. And it was proved by many articles by the Court of Auditors, who wrote a report which was very disastrous for the Louvre, and who told the Louvre didn't do what it had to do.
Now, what were the particular failings of Laurence Descartes and the Louvre in this instance, in your opinion?
One of the main failing is she's pushing a great project of a new entrance on the east of the Louvre, at the colonnade of Perrault. It's a facade of the Louvre. It's a main entrance. It's rooms for exhibitions, room for the Mona Lisa under the ground, and it will cost a lot of money. She has not. The Louvre has money. The Louvre has a lot of money. It has about 300 million euros, but it doesn't spend it where it must be done. It should be spent in the refection of the museum, in the security, in the works on the historical monument, and they wait because they want to put this money on this big project, and there is no money else. They wait for patronage, but they have no money for this. So the problem is this. It's a priority management.
Now, would you lay all the fault at the door of Laurence Descartes and the current management, or is it a systemic thing that goes back before their tenure?
No, she's not the only responsible, because the president director of the Louvre, Jean-Luc Martinez, was not much better. But in 4 years, she didn't do what she should do. And what did she do? She convinced Emmanuel Macron, the French president, to do this big project, which is so expensive. It is not studied. It is not financed, and it's going on. They are looking for architects just right now. So it's a nonsense. It doesn't work. It can't work. And it's Emmanuel Macron who supports Laurence Descartes, and it is both of them who are responsible.
Now, the Louvre earlier this week said it would have to close a gallery because of structural deficiencies. Museum staff say that they had already raised the alarm over this. Is there more problems like this within the museum? It's quite an old building.
Yes, it's an old building. They have told, the project I told is split in two. One is the refection of the museum, the security, and in this project, there is the refection of this gallery. And it is 450 million. And it is, there is money for this. And the other part is the project I told about the colonnade, and there is no money. So yes, there are some problems, and they must put the money on these problems, on this problem of the Galerie Campana, which we just learned, we just heard it was in bad shape, and for any problem of this kind. There are a lot of problems of this kind, yes, because the Louvre is a historical monument, and it's not a modern bâtiment, you know.
And
it's not a modern building.
The Louvre, of course, Laurence Descartes is appearing once again before a government committee. Is there a lack of government oversight over the museum?
Yes, sure, there is. No, there is a lack of government oversight because it's not the government which looks oversight the museum. It's directly the French president. So the Ministry of Culture should play his role, which is to tell the Louvre, you must spend money where it must be spent, and not in a project which cannot exist.
Now, the public perception of the Louvre in recent weeks, particularly since the robbery last month, is probably one of an institution in disarray. Is this a problem specific to the Louvre itself, or are there other cultural institutions in France in a similar state?
There are some cultural institutions which are not in good shape, but they are doing what they need to do. For example, the Centre Pompidou is closed now for a few years of works. Yes, no, I think the Louvre is the main problem for the big museums in France. Museum of Orsay has problems too, but it's okay, it works. Versailles Museum, it's some different kind of problems, but there is a good president at his head, so it works. But the Louvre is the problem, I think.
And do you think that the Louvre's problem stems from the fact that it is arguably the world's most famous museum, that it is constantly trying to attract more and more visitors to accommodate them and perhaps get more turnover, more income because of that?
Maybe, but I think because it's the biggest museum in the world, I don't know how you say, but it gets the president to become a little with an hubris very strong. They think they are the king of the world because they are the president of the Louvre, biggest museum in the world, and I think it could be a problem for this. But yes, sorry.
No, and what would your solutions be to actually get past the current impasse?
The solution is to abandon the new project of the colonnade and to think of solutions which are less expensive. Yes, Mona Lisa should be put apart, but there are solutions. For example, in one wing of the Louvre, where there is exhibitions of African art masterpieces. The masterpieces of African art should be in the Museum of African Art, Quai Branly, and not in the Louvre. It has nothing to do in the Louvre because the Louvre is not a museum of African art. And they could put, for example, the Mona Lisa here. And for exhibitions rooms, they want to build a big exhibition rooms. There were exhibition rooms in the Grand Palais, and the Grand Palais was refurbished for very expensive amount, 500 million euros, and there are rooms of exhibitions. It could be there. And the Louvre needs new entrances, but not a big one. Several new entrances, smaller.
Thank you very much for that, Didier Rykner, art historian and editor-in-chief of La Tribune de l'Art.